Good evening. Today is April 21st. S&P 500 has reversed yesterday's down day and ended up 32 points. It was going up pretty much the whole day without any pullbacks until the end of the day when we got the 10 points pullback. Japanese stocks also sold off today, but Nasdaq was up 0.75%, Russell was up over 2%, and gold even was up 1% and made another recent new highs. Even bonds were up a little bit. The rally in the S&P 500 is based on the optimism about reopening, the vaccinations status, the stimulus money. It's also adding to the market rally, and it was the broadest rally in underlying components of S&P 500 in history. 487 names in S&P 500 are above the 200-day moving average. And I was wondering if, Victor, you ever looked at those indicators to see if they mean anything, if the bullishness is there to continue.
Actually, that's just a syndrome of something that's much more recurring and salient. When the market's up a lot, has been up a lot, as it has been up about 8 or 9% in since the year, and 6 or 7% in the last 3 weeks. So everything is near its high, and then when the market has a good up day like it does today, it sends everything above its 200-day average. So it's just a syndrome. It's like saying that, is it bullish when the market is way up? It's bullish when the market is way down. It's bullish when the market is way up. It's always 50,000-fold a century. And don't try to fine-tune it too quickly and believe in these charlatanish epicyclic ideas about the market. It's very dysfunctional, and to be looking at a peculiar aspect, you run into ever-changing cycles and multiple classifications.
Yep. Well, also today, Yellen is calling for carbon-free electricity by 2035, and she thinks that climate risks need to be addressed. And I guess she thinks that this is her job to help in addressing them. Meanwhile, with all this climate stuff happening, China is building more coal-burning power plants than ever, and you can rest assured that their coal-burning standards are way lower than they are in US. So we basically are just replacing our coal-burning plants with the ones in China with lower standards.
Well, it seems like we have manning the baseball court. We, in every position, we have someone who's an ideologue and is a fish out of water and doing something. If they can't anti-Trump, they have to create a crisis, make everybody frightened so that there's an excuse for government spending and government control. But for her to be talking about climate and for Chance Gardner to be talking about a little bit of inflation, it's ridiculous. It makes you want to throw up your hands. But however, today it brought back many pleasant memories of my times in Tokyo, where I attended to certain monuments, And then I walked through the Love Hotels, because the Love Hotels were occupied today. I had a tweet on it around 1 or 2 o'clock. Not only had the market gone down about 1% yesterday, but it was threatening to go down another through the lows at 41.10. But I remembered the walk I had through the Love Hotels, and I put a picture on it on Twitter. And I knew that the fate of the markets depended upon when the Japanese would deign to protect their aura of their prestige and their dignity.
But their market
And
was down.
It all happened. Everything happened in 20 minutes today, from 9:40 a.m. Eastern Standard to 10 a.m. The market went up 24 points up to 41.40, and then it just bounced around. But the cause of that was, I like to think of the Japanese saying, "Hey, what the hell is happening to our dignitas?" At that time, the Nikkei was 28,500. It was down 1% after being down 3% the previous day. Then all of a sudden, metaphorically, the operatives all got out of the Love Hotels, and in 20 minutes they raised the Nikkei from 28,500 to 28,700. So they were able to, and that was all the U.S. market needed to see that they had some support from their Asian friends, and that was it. You had to get those 20 minutes if you were going to trade the market successfully, and if you weren't a buy and hold person, which is what everybody should be. But today's 1% rise, it was 1% in almost everything. The Dow was up 1%. The DAX was up only 0.5%. NAS was up 0.8%. But you had the bonds again closed at a new high, a new 3-week high, and something has to give tomorrow. Either the bonds or the stock market will go down. We're definitely going up to 4,200, as I've been saying for the last week. Every signal is conciliance behind that. But I wouldn't be surprised if we bounced about before Mr. Soji has some, he hasn't had time to digest his coffee at 41.50, and I wouldn't be surprised if the waves, the undertow of the waves comes back and brings him to 41.50. before it has the energy to get to 4,200. So too many things that are bad for the long-term aspects of the stock market. Of course, there's always something bad for the stock market, but everyone talking about how ashamed we should be and how racist we are and how we should support the most progressive people in the world. They're all peopling our thing. Of course, it was nice to have the Chauvin verdict, but now our justice system is completely compromised with the president praying for a verdict and the chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee, and it's laughable.
Right.
Laughable. I mean, what are you going to do? You just have to go up the numbers and.
Well, I think what police is going to do, they're going to stop policing. Any reasonable person is just going to show up on scene and pretty much do nothing.
Well, they're always like that. In my father's day, which was 70 years ago, he hated to arrest a man of color because he knew that it would create scrutiny from the lieutenant and the captain, and to make sure that there was nothing untoward and nothing that could be said against the gentility of the police force and making the arrest, and how it was a neutral thing. I mean, from the standpoint of the people in color, they, the central idea is that if they're arrested, they're going to have some crazy policeman sitting on them until the ambulance comes. And in the old days, the people of color were told not to resist arrest. Now if you notice, almost all of the violence is occurring when they're resisting arrest. Now, I wonder what the market analog of that is. Yesterday, I mentioned that the analysis in sports betting was much more adroit and adept than that in the our meager field. And I'll throw out one pearl of wisdom before closing today. One of their main trends that they spotted is, and I've seen this in Bill James's baseball almanac also, and a few smarts use this. If a team has lost many games in a season or in a last year, last few weeks, by a small amount, then it's sort of like the beaten favorite. And in racing, that's very bull. There's a lot of luck that caused them to lose by a few points. And it's good to play them, the smart's good to play them as a winner. True in the professional sports leagues, and also true in the market. On the other hand, if they've won a lot of squeakers, that's luck, and that's not going to continue. They're going to regress the other way. So that's the wisdom for the day, aside from the fact that pay attention to what's happening in the luck hotels and eat a lot of sushi when they allow you to get free of the lockdown. Thank you very much, my dear.
Thank you.
Speak to you tomorrow.